Hi guys, how are you doing? Hope everybody's well. I hope you're all staying safe and warm in these ridiculous temperatures. It is absolutely Baltic outside. I normally try and get a walk every lunchtime, but I've been avoiding it because I know if I put one foot out there, I'm going to go absolutely over and break an ankle of some sort. Hey Linda, been enjoying your pictures of your snowy walks. Obviously, if you've got pets to walk, you have to get out into it, but hopefully everybody's wrapped up warm and staying nice and cozy in this crazy weather. Okay, I'm going to jump straight to the good stuff. We're going to be making Christmas tags, gift tags tonight. You can do them in any way you want, but I'm doing them for Christmas. And this was something which I saw done for cards, and I thought you could totally do that for gift tags. So we're going to give that a try this evening, and I hope you enjoy it. So let me jump straight to it. All right, we are starting off with a single sheet of the thick basic white. So, hey Debbie, glad you could join us. I thought I'm going to try this on thick cardstock rather than the usual cardstock. The thick basic white is really good for card bases because it's a bit firmer, but it's really good for gift tags as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with my stamping. You'll be thinking, wow, that's a really big gift tag. Stick with me. It will all make sense when we get partway into this. I'm using the Joyful Flurry stamp set, which is one of the ones in the Autumn Winter catalogue, which is leaving us soon. If you haven't had a chance to have a look through that and make sure that you've got all of your last chance items, then grab them before they're gone. Right, I am using the Snowflake stamps for this. Starting off with this lovely big one here. In fact, I'm just mounting them all onto my clear blocks to begin with. And as you can see, I'm kind of inspired by our frosty weather. Hey, Marion. To have a go and to use my snowflakes. I thought it was very appropriate given how cold it has been. So those are my stamps lined up. The colours that I've gone for, I've gone for these ones here. So Balmy Blue, Fresh Freesia, Gorgeous Grape and Starry Sky. But before I start stamping, I'm going to take my Balmy Blue and I've got one of my blending brushes. And what I'm going to do is pick up some ink on my blending brush, and on my piece of card, this is just an A4 sheet of card, and down the centre, I'm just going to, you see it's so subtle, the Balmy Blue is quite pale. I'm doing a line right the way across. You can hardly see it, but that's fine. I'm wanting something that's subtle. You see it's starting. That's the thing about blending brushes. They're so subtle with the colour that they put on. I'm just brushing that backwards and forwards a few times. If I hold it up to the camera, can you see there's a, if I kind of tilt it that way, you can see it better. So I've just got a very, very pale shade. Hey, Julie, glad you like the snowflakes. We're going to have lots of snowflakes tonight. On the tags, not necessarily outside. Right, I've done a line all the way along there, down the centre. Next, what I'm going to do is up and down. So again, this is at the halfway mark. So one horizontally and one vertically. If this had been done in red, this would look very much like an English flag rather than the white with just the blue there. But that's all I'm needing to do here. Just very, very faint bits of blue along there. Then what I'm going to do is, again with my blending brush, I'm going to do another vertical line. So this is kind of halfway in between here. Just very pale, doesn't need to be much. You don't actually want a huge amount of ink here. This is just to give you a little bit of background and a little bit of a guideline, if you like. Then I'm doing it here. So again, there's my halfway mark, and I'm just doing it here. Right. I'm using a blending brush. You could use a sponge if you preferred. You could use a dauber. It's just to give me, I don't know if you can see, there's very faint balmy blue lines down all of there. Right, that's enough of the blending brush for just now. Let's crack open my ink pads. So I've got my Balmy Blue, this is my Fresh Freesia, my Gorgeous Grape, and my Starry Sky. So I'm going to start with my largest snowflake first, and I'm using my Gorgeous Grape for my largest snowflake. And ink that up. Do you know what? I'm just going to whack it straight onto the centre of my card. I'm going to put another one here. I'm going to put another one here. Let's put about here. And I'm placing them roughly where those lines were, where my Balmy Blue, Balmy Blue brush marks were. Okay, so now I've got, what's that, about 9, 10 of my big snowflakes. Let's do the next one down, and this one I'm going to do in Night of Navy. And again, I'm just kind of following where those Balmy Blue brush marks were. Just building up snowflakes. I don't mind if they overlap. In fact, it's nice if they do. There we go. Right. What's next? Next biggest one I'm going to use with my Fresh Freesia. Love these colours. They're very Christmassy, frosty type colours. Hey Harry! Hope you're doing well. For anybody who doesn't know Harry, she is on the other side of this planet, and I'm sure you're having weather that is very, very different to ours. Here in Scotland, we are very, 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 very cold, but where Harry is, it is the opposite. It is very, very warm at this time of year. In fact, I had somebody who was talking about visiting the UK just so they could get away from the unbearable heat. And I said, well, if you're wanting to get away from heat, then absolutely Scotland and the UK is the place to come right now, because it's absolutely Baltic. Okay, I've done my Fresh Freesia snowflakes. They're starting to build up all the way along here. Next, I'm going to use my Balmy Blue, and I'm just going to make sure that I get Balmy Blue in amongst all of these. You've noticed I've kind of been going from largest to smallest. That's just the way I like to do it, but you can do it any way you choose. You know this, it's all about doing what feels right, what looks right. But people will be going, right now she's just got this mad sheet of card with lots of snowflakes on it. Doesn't actually look like a huge amount just now. But what we're now going to do is take our trimmer, and I'm going to cut it in half lengthways, so that's at about 14.8. And then I'm going to do this really quick and dirtily by placing it on top of each other. And so I'm going to cut this in half, so that's at 10.5. And then these ones I'm going to cut in half as well, and these are about 7.4 centimetres. And if I've done this the way I think I've done it, we should end up with 8 pieces of card that have got snowflakes all around the edges. And these are our tags. How easy was that? I mean, like, honestly, If once you've cut them, you realise that there's some bits that look a bit blank or look a bit bare, then absolutely go over with one of your snowflakes again and just fill up any gaps that you might see. Then all I'm going to do at this point is going to use my Starry Sky. Actually, before I do that, let's trim them off, because at the end of the day we want these to be tags. So I'm going to figure out which end I want to be the tag end. Do that one there, that one there. Yeah, I think that one there. So I'm just going to do these, probably do these in twos. These ones are kind of all the way around, so the tags could really go in any direction. So let's just do them in twos. And I'm just going to trim the corners off. So top tip, if you want to have equal corners, once you've cut one corner off, use that as your guidelines to do the other one, and then they'll end up roughly the same size. There we go. Let's just trim these corners off. Who is organised for Christmas? I know I still have cards to get out in the post, and yes, I know I've missed last post, so some of these are going to be more New Year's cards than Christmas cards. But from what I've been hearing with some of the strikes going on at present, even if I had sent them last week, I'm not sure they would have made it in time, but hopefully they'll get there and the love will still be true even if it comes after the 25th. There we go. Let's group all of these together. Use my trusty crocodile. Do a nice, decent sized hole in the centre. And then I've got, I love this trim. This is like the tinsel trim, which I'm now realising I haven't got a pair of scissors, but the trim is going to go in my tags here. But before I do that, I want to do my sentiment. So again, from the same stamp set, I haven't cleaned any of my stamps because I'm an absolute rebel, but let's use this one. Check that I've got it the right way around, which I haven't. This is why you check before you stamp. Make sure that you've got it the right way around. There we go. Joyful wishes. It's not a lovely one. Quite like this. Oh, and there is another finishing touch that I'm going to do before I deem these as completely finished. See, I'm doing these at a jaunty angle. There's nothing that says you have to do them straight. In fact, if you try and do them straight and perfectly lined up, that's often when I get into difficulties. So jaunty angles all the way. There we go. And then to finish these off, where are they? I've got, these are the adhesive backed stars, again from the Autumn Winter catalogue. It's one that's ended up on the outside of the packet, so I will just snaffle that now. These come in two different sizes. Can you see? There's these small ones and then these larger ones. So I'm just going to dot in a couple of these. Bit of bling. Oh, I'm sorry you're not feeling well, Harry. I hope you feel much better very, very quickly. But I'm glad that you're watching live. So what do we think of these tags? I realise that it's been so ridiculously quickly. I'm now thinking I'm going to have to do something else to fill up my time because I don't want you to to feel that you haven't had something worth watching. But they were an awful lot quicker than I thought they were going to be. What do you think? Does anybody think that this is a style of tag that they would want to make, that they would enjoy making? You can't deny that it was quick. It was so quick. I think some of you even missed it, the ones who joined on later. Well, I tell you what I'll do. I will show you the card version of the tags, because that's what I've seen other people do, and that's where I got the idea for it. Let's just use these same stamps and the same inks, given that I've got them all out, and do cards along those lines. Let me just finish sticking these on. You liked it. I'm glad you like it. Thank you. So these are my 8 tags, which, as you see, took almost no time at all to make. And they've got these random snowflakes in these beautiful colours stamped all the way around. Let's show you the card version then, just so that I can do something. I didn't use a die, Harry. I'll show you. I shall show you. Let me show you what I did. Right. This time, because I'm doing a card front rather than tags or a card base, I'm using just my standard basic white. So this isn't the thick basic white, this is just the standard one. So let's start off like I did last time with my blending brush and with my balmy blue. And so I'm going to pick up some ink. I'm doing card fronts this time. Actually, that's a good point. I'm doing card fronts. So don't use a full sheet. Let's start off. I'm just going to trim 1 centimetre off each side. Thank you, Flora. I'm glad you like that. It is very easy to do. A lot of the stuff I do is very easy because I don't have as much time to do some of the intricate, beautiful stuff I've seen other people do, which is absolutely beautiful. My stuff is all very simple. Okay, A4 sheet, but I have trimmed 1 centimetre off the top and 1 centimetre off the side. So I've got my balmy blue ink pad and my brush, and again I'm just gonna do some ink down the centre line. So this is my vertical centre. Doesn't need to be precise, and I mean you can see it's a very faint balmy blue line. It's just to give a little bit of depth to your backgrounds. You don't need much at all. Don't worry about it not being perfectly straight or not perfectly in the middle. It's not going to matter. Right, then I'm going to do the same horizontally. So my balmy blue, all the way the same. As I said before, if I was doing this in red and white, it would look very much like an English flag, which you'd think would keep my husband happy. For those of you who don't know, my husband is English, but he's not really into football or supporting those teams. If you do, then I'm sorry, because I understand England got sent home from the recent foot to the ball matches, but Scotland never made it that far, so we weren't doing much of the watching. Right, so I've got my A4 minus 1 centimetre on the long side and the short side, and I've got my balmy blue horizontal and vertical lines that I've done there. So next, I'm going to try and do these in the same colours as I did last time, because I didn't clean my stamps. I do mean soccer, Harry, for my non-British contingent. Football, or soccer, as other parts of the world like to refer to it. There's been some sort of major footballing event going on, apparently. How would I know? Not much of a football fan, I'm afraid. Right. So this time, because I'm doing card fronts and not tags, I'm only doing 1 vertical and 1 horizontal. So when I did the tags, remember, I did my horizontal, I did a vertical, and then I did 2 more verticals down the side. But this time it's card fronts, so I don't need to do all of that. I've done my largest snowflakes first. Then I'm going to the next size down, and I'm doing this in Starry Sky. The first ones were done in Gorgeous Grape. And I'm using those balmy blue lines that I that I did with my blending brush, just as a bit of a guide so that I know roughly where I'm stamping, but you'll also see I'm not keeping perfectly to the lines. I'm going over, I'm just stamping randomly. These are snowflakes. At the end of the day, if you've ever seen precisely engineered snowflakes, then you didn't see them in nature, I'll tell you that much. So these are just randomly stamped snowflakes. Next, I'm going to do my fresh freesia. You can actually do this kind of technique. So this, I've seen it done with flowers that was really beautiful. I've seen it done with holly leaves. I've seen it done with all manner of stamps. Yes, I'm using snowflakes because I want to do festive, wintry type stuff, but you can do it with, you can do this technique, this kind of card making with any stamps that you've got to hand. So don't think, oh, well, she did it with snowflakes, it can only be done with snowflakes. That is not the case. Right, and then finish off with my teeny tiny toty one. And so this is my balmy blue that I'm using just to put more snowflakes anywhere I feel there's a bit of a gap. You can never have too many snowflakes. If you've ever been caught outside in a snowstorm, you know that a good snow flurry, it just, I don't know, it lifts my spirit. I love winter. I would always rather be too cold than too hot, because when you're too cold, you can put on layers and you can wrap up well. When you're too hot, there is a real limit to how much you can take off, especially in polite company. Okay, so you can see here, I've got my snowflakes going horizontally and vertically. Ooh, seashells. That's a good plan, Harry. You could do that beautifully. And we do have some lovely seashell sets at the moment. Right. So I'm going to cut this in half horizontally. And then, because I'm cheating, I'm going to just layer that on top and cut it in half again, so I can do that twice as quick. I'm not sure I understand. Oops. Sorry, my watch joining in the conversation. I'm going to cut that in half that way as well. So now my piece of card is cut into 4 equal pieces, but you can lift them off and those are beautiful card fronts. So I would probably do 2, like, actually you could do them that way. You could do these horizontally, you could have them vertically, you could do lots of different versions of these. Let's do 2 of them in Starry Sky, and let's do 2 of them in the Fresh Freesia, I think. Let's take, yeah, so I'm gonna score it first and then flip it 90 degrees and cut it in half. Gonna do the same with the other one. Let's do them in a different orientation then, just to be different. So score it that way and cut it this way. Then just going to fold up my card faces. And it's at this point I realised that I haven't got glue to hand, because I was making tags, guys, remember? I was just making tags and I didn't need glue for the tags. 24 degrees, oh my word. We have been minus, I think we were -9 this morning when I woke up, Harry. And it was definitely a lot colder than that overnight. Right, let me just grab some glue very quickly. Drutix. There we go. Trusty Tombow. So, what do we think? This one, I think orientation in this direction is quite nice. I'm gonna do at least, or should I do it this way? Let's stick it down. You can tell me, what do you prefer, horizontal or vertical? Say in the comments which way up you think it should be. I suppose the joy of this one is that even if I start it, well, I suppose, what do you call them? Portrait and landscape. So this would be landscape. Or, we see that in that direction, I think landscape really works. Whereas for this one, I think portrait really works. Let's do this one portrait. You tell me in the comments which you prefer, portrait or landscape. Could go either way. So I've got a portrait one and a landscape one. Let's do, you like both. Flora, you're going for landscape. I might, do you know what? I can do one each of, so let's do a landscape in that direction, and then let's do that as a portrait. And then that way I've kind of done variations of both. Actually, that way, and then that way. Yeah, no, oh, goodness, and you see now I can't decide. Snowflakes at the bottom corner and along the side, or along the side and along the top. It could go both ways, couldn't it? Let's try it this way, see what you think. That's another vote for landscape from Debbie. That's the beauty of these snowflakes. You can literally do them in any orientation. Swap them around, do them however you want. Oh, I've just made another 4 Christmas cards. Isn't this a really quick and easy way to do them? So you saw me do it with the tags before, where I literally made 8 gift tags in less than 10 minutes. And now this is 4 card fronts done again in no time at all. So let's have a look at our sentiments. So for our gift tags, we used that sentiment there, joyful wishes. This one here, it's a season of magic and wonder. That's nice. Sending you the best all this year. They're nice, but I think they're too small. What I want to do... Oh, I know what I could use. Right. See, again, I didn't have it to hand because I wasn't planning on doing it. But 2 seconds, let me grab something. What do you think? This is a limited edition stamp set, which is only available this side of Christmas. At the end of December, it's not going to be available anymore. It's the Framed and Festive set. It's designed to go with the Festive Florets bundle, where there's papers, there's framelits, all of that to go together. The rest of the Festive Florets stuff is going to be in the spring summer catalogue, but this one won't. This is limited edition and it is leaving at the end of this month. I'm also going to point out tomorrow on the 15th, actually starting tonight from 11 o'clock, but let's call it tomorrow, is the free shipping day. So if there's anything you're wanting that you haven't had a look yet, check out the catalogue, check out the clearance rack. There's even a new kit that's come out, the Love Notes kit. I will have one of those to show you next year. But if you spend an order that's £60 or more, you'll get free shipping tomorrow only. So this could be one of the ones that you go for. Let me, you know what, we're gonna, because I don't have a big block here, we're just gonna use the Stamparatus. I'll light this up. But this one here, may this season be filled with peace and joy. I think that's a lovely sentiment. Because let's face it, which of us couldn't do with a little peace and joy at this time of year? I don't know about you, but things can sometimes get pretty mad in the run-up to all the festivities. Regardless of your faith and your beliefs, it is a magical time for many. It's a difficult time for some as well. I understand that. But it can often be a very stressful time too. And if there's any way that we can do to make it less stressful, more fun, more peaceful, I am all for that. Here we go. I'm going to put this sentiment on here. Let's use my Stamparatus to pick that up, and I'm using again my Starry Sky. So this is the same ink. You've got a one sheet wonder stamp to make quick cards with. Yes, I do love a one sheet wonder. In fact, my December class by post last year, I think, was different one sheet wonders. There we go. Could do with being a little bit darker on the Joy. Joy, the Stamparatus, is you can just go straight over again. There we go. Perfect. And then let's not forget my adhesive stars. Let's just put a couple of them on just to give it that sparkle. You know what I'm like with the bling. You know I can't resist it. But I think it just makes it stand out, doesn't it? Just gives that little extra something. How about that? May your season be filled with peace and joy. Let's do another one. So this is my landscape version rather than my portrait version. Let's be very careful. Figure out how I'm going to put this on. Let's put it there. Let's put it down. Line it up. I want it to be about there. Test to see. There we go. Bye, Debbie. Take care. See you next week, hopefully. There we go. Another season. Oh, you see, again, the Joy. I'm not pushing hard enough on the Joy. Let me just do that again. There we go. New season be filled with peace and joy and sparkles. There we go. Should we use one of the other sentiments as well? Have yourself a merry little Christmas. 'Tis the season to be jolly. No, do you know what? I'm going to stick with peace and joy. I think the sentiments that they are just work really nicely for peace and joy. I think there's something peaceful often about snowflakes. Not when you're driving in them, admittedly, but something about being out in the white and the snow. All right, let's see if I can get this one right first time. Yeah, there we go. And a few of the adhesive stars just to make it sparkle. I should say thank you to everybody who sent me beautiful, beautiful cards. I've had quite a few really gorgeous cards through from people, so thank you so that was close. You see, I nearly did the sentence going around the wrong way. When your stamp is sentiment in the right way. I think I've done those. I'll have the worksheet. Oh well. Right. Yes, thank you to everybody who sent me beautiful Christmas cards. We've got them all up in display in the lounge next to our lovely Christmas tree. There are Christmas cards from me in the post to many of you. They're probably not going to arrive in time for Christmas now because the love is still there. I hope you have a lovely time. For those who haven't shopped with me in the last 6 months but would still like one of the new spring summer catalogues, make sure you drop me a private message with your address because I do have some spares. So I've got for all of my lovely VIP customers, but I have got some extras as well in case there's anybody who's tempted and would like to see some of the new goodies in the catalogue. So, right, there we go. 4 cards and 8 gift tags, all done with this same technique. So you can see how easy this is to do, how effective it looks, just with a little bit of bling and your sentiment, and you can do something that's really straightforward and really easy. All right, so let's flick back to me. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope everybody's had a good evening. I will see you next Wednesday for more crafting. I'm trying to figure out, I might not make it the Wednesday after that. We'll wait and see. But I am still planning to do it next Wednesday. I hope you've had a lovely evening. I hope you've been inspired. If you have and you decide to make any of these cards in a similar way, please do share. I love to see your creations. Stay safe out there in the cold. And for you, Harry, I hope you feel better soon. Okay, everybody, take care. Bye.